University, Ahmedabad. I am going to deliver my presentation on unit costing. Unit costing method is also known as single costing or output costing because the purpose of this method to be determine a cost of per unit of output. It also an activity to decide the total cost as well as cost per unit to produce or service. In other words, total cost means direct cost plus indirect cost. For conclusion, cost per unit, total cost for divided by the number of unit produced. For example, total cost is 50,000. The number of unit produced of 1,000 per unit cost equal to 50,000 divided by 1,000 is equal to 50 rupees. Objective of to find out cost of production for particular periods. To find out the cost per unit under for the cost of components. Distribution chart of the various costs and overhead. Direct, indirect, fixed and variable overhead. Prime cost, factory overhead, office overhead, selling overhead. Prime cost is the always direct. Factory overhead is always indirect. Office overhead is always indirect. Selling overhead is always indirect. Prime cost is a variable. Factory overhead is a fixed and variable. Office overhead is a fixed and variable. Selling is a fixed and variable expenses. If instruction is not given to a problem of overhead expenses, whole cost sheet, office overhead are considered as a fixed by default, while other overhead to be considered as a variable expenses. If change are given for fixed expenses, then it made into rupees only, otherwise fixed expenses remain unchanged. For example, production of 5,000 and 10,000 unit of factory expense of 10,000. So per unit cost is equal to 10,000 divided by 5,000 is equal to 2 rupees, and 10,000 divided by 10,000 unit is equal to 1 rupees. Change factory expenses increased by 50%, then new factory expenses 10,000 plus 5,000. Expenses of 10,000 divided by unit 5,000 is equal to per unit cost 3 rupees. For 50,000 unit, 50,000 rupees and 10,000 is equal to 1.5 per unit. If change is given, the variable expenses change made into per unit cost only. Otherwise, per unit variable expenses remain unchanged. For example, 5,000 unit and 10,000 unit per unit is a factory expense of 5 rupees. Answer 5,000 multiply 5, 25, 5,000, 10,000 multiply 5, 50,000. So factory increased by 20%, then the new per unit cost 5 to 5 plus 1, 6. Production of 5,000 unit, the per cost is 6 rupees, 30,000 amount, 10,000 is the 60,000 unit. Valuation of finished good is always to be made cost production level, whereas change the distribution overhead should be changed on number of unit. Following information of sequence of available for cost sheet. Cost of raw material plus direct expenses plus is equal to prime cost, plus factory overhead is equal to factory cost, plus office and admin overhead is equal to office cost, plus opening stock of finished good minus closing stock of finished good is equal to cost of production of goods sold, plus selling and distribution overhead is equal to total cost sales of cost, plus profit minus loss is equal to sales. Cost is calculation of prime cost. Raw material of 15,000, purchase of material 70,000, expense of 3,000, total cost is 88,000, raw material of 30,000, sale of scrap minus 1,000, the cost of raw material 57,000, direct wage is 25,000, work in progress 15,000, purchase of work in progress 12,000, work in purchase 5,000 is equal to 47,000, direct expenses 7,500 is equal to prime cost is 1,11,500. Cost sheet of year of 31st 2007. Outstanding raw material 40,000, raw material of 1 lakh, courage inward 2,000, raw material 40,000, cost of raw material 1 lakh 2,000, is equal to divided by number of unit 20,000. So per unit cost is a 5.1 plus direct wage is 60,000 divided by number of unit 20,000 per unit is 3 rupees. Prime cost of 1,62,000 per unit 8.1. Add factory overhead of 35,400 per unit 1.77. Factory cost is 1,97,400 per unit 9.87. Add office overhead 32,600 per unit is 1.63 is equal to office cost 2,30,000 per unit 11.5 rupees. Opening stock of finished good 10,000 minus closing stock of finished good 6,000. Cost of production goods sell 2,34,000 11.17. Add selling and distribution overhead 18,000 divided by number of unit 20,000 per unit cost is 0.9 is equal to total cost of sales plus profit minus loss. Sales value is 4,40,000 per unit 22. The profit is 1,88,000 9.4. I am Dr. Ishwar Rathod. Thank you UGC HRDC Gujarat University Ahmedabad for providing me an opportunity to join 5th online refresher course Commerce and Management